So how did you meet this wonderful bright-eyed lady named Susan Ebert?
Oh man, I wish I would have met Susan a lot earlier in my career.
Yep.
But how did we meet? So when I was with PRW, I eventually ended up leaving there and went to Realty One Group.
Okay.
So I'm taking the long way to how I met Susan. But I met a guy, Christian Stone, and I met him at the Board of Realtors in Hemet.
Okay.
And it was just one of these fluke things, kind of like everything has been a fluke along the way. And I guess that's most people's story. I was saying we just got cut off thanks to Billy screwing everything up. But I was saying that, I feel like things have been happening for a reason type of thing. But I guess that's everyone's life. Like things lead you to where you are now, good and bad. But I met Christian at the Board of Realtors in Hemet. And I don't know what made me. Oh, I remember I had seen him in the gym a couple times throughout the years, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I think I know you." And he's like, "Yeah, you look familiar." And I keep hearing like clicking, and I feel like it's Billy snapping, but it's the camera. Okay, gosh. And I'm like, "Hey, you got your license?" He's like, "Yeah, I just got my license." Like we literally had just both got our license, probably within months of each other, and I was like, well, cool, man, let's exchange cards and, any tips or tricks, let's like exchange information and how we can help each other grow. And I think that was such a huge part of my growth from then to now was realizing right from the start that even though we're both in this small town and we're both in the same industry and we should both technically be competitors, that thought never really went through my head. Mm-hmm. It was more like, hey, I can share with him what I've learned from these podcasts, because at the time he didn't listen to any podcasts. He didn't. I don't even know if he knew how to read at the time. And
love you, Christian.
So I told him like, hey man, you got to listen to these podcasts. And he's like, hey, he told me about Mike Ferry. Yep. He was just learning about Mike Ferry, and I'm like, cool, yeah. So we just started hanging out and exchanging what we were learning. Mm-hmm. And never once did I feel like we're competition. It was always about helping each other grow and do better. And I think that's one thing that a lot of agents or people in general get wrong right off the bat. Yeah. It's like they get information or a tip or a trick and they just hoard it. And they're like, this is mine. This is like the ring, the Lord of the Rings, and no one else can have it.
Precious.
And my precious. And I just think that the more you can share and throw out, the more is going to come back to you. And that was the way I treated it with Christian from day one. Same with Miguel, same with everyone. The more I learned, the more I shared. And it just kept coming back tenfold. So that then led us to going. So we both went to Realty One Group. We were there for a little while, and then Christian, I don't know how, somehow Christian hooked up with Susan, not in that way, but they met professionally. And he's like, hey man, you got to check out Signature. And I'm like, okay, like I wasn't not happy at Realty One, and I wasn't loving Realty One. I was kind of like whatever. But he was like, no, we got to go here. Everything we've been doing, sharing information, like we're going to go over there and do it there. And at the time, David Serpa was there, and he was, a big agent at the time, and we're going to learn from him, and we're going to compete, and it's going to push us. And I got to give him a lot of credit because he was like pushing me to go where I didn't really care either way because I was doing fine and business was growing. But I was like, yeah, man, like if you say it's cool and it's a good idea and you're going there, I'll go there too, and maybe we can help make Signature like the best, like we'll get other agents to go, because again, our thing was just all about growing and sharing, and wherever we're at, we want it to be the best. And that's how I met Susan, and I'm glad I did.
Susan's a life changer.
She really is.
I don't think I'm a life changer, but I do agree with all the philosophies of all you kids, of the collaboration. There is enough pie, and let's go help each other, and then help rise to the occasion, you know? And that's always really fun. So, because that was in the beginning here, and it was, in my eyes, it was, okay, it's an experiment. I wonder if it's going to work. Can all these egos come under the same roof and just really like each other? And probably one of the funnest things from my perspective was when you guys came in, you were these successful, I was worshiping the ground you walked on, but you had the same heart and spirit as I did, and I couldn't believe that that was really out there and that you were really going to come do this and we were going to do it together. I was so happy. And then it actually worked, and I was like, this is working. What is going on? You guys are all so nice.